I think either way, Complexity didn't deal with the super aggression in the laning stage. If the lanes were standard the way they were, I think they would have been semi-fine. Like, they maybe would have gotten killed a little bit more than they killed, but it was definitely Mineski running over them. So I think they played a little overconfident. They obviously had the skill to bring it back, so I have a lot of faith in them being able to do that again if it does happen, but they could have been a little bit safer in the early game.
Right, but it's more of like a awareness thing where it's like, okay, now they got it, they figured it out, so hopefully, you would expect them not to make those same mistakes. Well, we are underway in the draft for game number 2.
So I was about to say, I think the trade-off in the first 4 picks is very important to how strong Complexity's lineup is going to look, because the Axe and the starter pick are not the most traditional picks, so it actually made the lineup look weaker than it was initially when the second bans ended. But just the fact that they had the Invoker and the Doom, it's so much easier for them to get back into that game, because these 2 heroes are just so very strong at the present time.
What do you think about Mineski getting first pick again?
And Radiant. I think it's because they really like that one spot where you can Ancient with Nature's Prophet. Really effective for jungling. I think that's why
that is the one sole reason.
It's totally worth losing Roche over.
That's right.
That was like the graveyard of Mineski in that game, that mountaintop. Here lies Mineski. I think they lost 2 or 3 heroes in that
like 3 or 4 times.
Did he even have Blink on Prophet there?
I don't think
Because he didn't, right?
Yeah.
So he had Maelstrom and the Lightning procs. You can see him in Fog sometimes. So anytime somebody was looking there, okay, Prophet's on the cliff again. I'd rather do something else. It's kind of repetitive here, killing him. But yeah, they got a lot of kills there. If he had a Blink, I would be comfortable with him doing that. But I don't think that was safe at that stage in the game. So, but clearly they like first pick or
they're sticking with it.
So I think Seafreak's Doom was really, really good in this game. They are going to go for the Tusk instead. I think it also has a lot of value, changing things up and then, trying out other stuff, especially when you're up a game. It's still a very strong hero. I think Tusk is one of the best support heroes in present time.
I think it's a lot better in the very early game as well. If you ice shard somebody off when you have a team advantage, boom, that's a kill. It's a little bit more straightforward. It's easier to punish lanes as well. You can TP in a lane, do a snowball, and then
it's good at matching that early game aggression.
Much better than Doom. Doom is more like dive towers, be aggressive. His counter initiation is just not
needs the levels in order for him to scale.
A little bit harder to react to. So apparently Complexity did choose Dire.
Yeah, so Complexity is the one who chose Dire. They were given the choice. Apparently, so far this weekend, first team to make that choice when given.
I don't think that's surprising at all, given their stats. I'm actually more surprised that Mineski didn't pick Dire in the first game. Anyways.
But they seem, that's what they wanted the first game, so they're getting what they wanted. It seems like both teams kind of getting what their preferences are. It's just having to work out a little bit better in the end.
And that's exactly it, right? It's all a question of preference. Like, personally, both for myself and Vegetables, I think we prefer playing Dire, especially if we gotta go for a Nature's Prophet strategy. So that in itself is very telling about what Mineski likes to do.
And I would have thought that it would have been the same if they play an aggressive playstyle. You want to do that on Dire side, so you get advantage, take some towers, and then you have a natural Roche advantage to transition you into the late game. So it's a bit confusing to me why they would play aggressive style on Radiant.
Alright, well, and so far, shocking the Drow coming out this time for Complexity. Starting that out, you guys talked about it earlier in game 1 as a possible option for Mineski.
It definitely would have transitioned them really well from a early advantage into towers just blowing up instantly.
Right.
Sometimes if the Drow just gets too much advantage, all of a sudden every ranged hero is hitting for an extra 50. And you can't match that. That's amazing gold advantage, really. If you lose a couple team fights, then you're stuck with the Drow. But if you keep that gold advantage up, it lets you transition into towers and eventually a Rax. So.
A couple of things too about the bans. I think that Complexity are really smart for banning Bounty Hunter in game 1 and game 2. I think the game would have been completely different if there were a Bounty Hunter in the last game, and they probably wouldn't have been able to overcome the gold advantage.
5 seconds remaining.
But the entire draft would have looked different.
Yeah, at the same time though, it suits Mineski's playstyle like extremely well, way more so than the
support. Kind of taking away that X factor that can really help the snowball a little bit more for Mineski and making it a little bit more even for Complexity.
Alright, Chen pick here. It's going to make their lane slightly weaker, but with the creep, if they get some good pressure on Nature's Prophet, for example, I think they could annoy Puck a little bit in a couple ways, but at the very least, if your other support's a Tusk, you're limited in a lot of ways. You can't zone the Nature's Prophet because he's going to have trans plus right click, so it will hurt them a little bit here in the laning stage, but it will transition into good pushes and potentially good ganks as well.
I was thinking this would be one of the reasons why they would ban out the Drow Ranger. They didn't want their lanes and their towers to be pushed down. Chen isn't a very mobile hero, and so they wouldn't have the best tower defense either. So, and you don't want to end up in a a tower race where you do trade-offs constantly. And I think Nature's Prophet Drow would have easily have an advantage over any both Trench Strat or a slower scaling composition where you would go for late game heroes to match up with the Invoker. So that makes a lot of sense now, because last game it wouldn't have made sense to ban out the Drow, and they didn't, because they were going for this heavy initiate that could kill off targets fairly quickly. Whereas in this one, they're gonna go for something entirely different. And that's what I was saying. I think it's good that when you're up a game and you're in a tournament and you know you're against an opponent who is deemed weaker than you and that you're confident playing against, it's good. It's a good thing to just play differently and take your time out to play different strengths and try out strategies.
Yeah, they don't actually pick Chen that often, and Mineski actually typically ban Chen because they almost never play it. So I don't.
Seafreak has had a lot of success with Chen.
Yeah, I mean not recently. They haven't picked it up so much.
Potentially because of the huge influx of Bounty Hunter and Enchantress, both heroes that are incredibly annoying to play against. And then of course Witch Doctor as well. Probably the best support up against the Chen.
Bat Rider great for countering Nature's Prophet split push and initiating general disables, so you can stop Witch Doctor ulti. I do like the Tusk as a sort of solution to Puck. Maybe they didn't draft it that way since they did pick it first, but if you do get like 4-man, 3-man Dream Coils, if you can get in there and snowball those heroes and then bring them outside of the tether, it would break the tether but protect the stun. So as long as he's not caught in there with them and maybe gets a mobility item, he could be pretty useful. For countering that. And then I'm looking at the Mineski lineup, and I feel like they're lacking some damage. They're lacking some disable due to that. So if they play things right or initiate it first, I feel like they could get a lot of teamfight advantage.
Although he'll round it out a little bit with Venge for now. And now we're waiting for the last phase. Game number 2 between these two teams.
Have they noticed Drow is banned?
It's like a draw strat.
It's just for the Bat Rider.
Yeah. Good there.
Probably hands down the best support versus Bat Rider.
5 seconds remaining.
I would hope they've noticed. It is a little bit important, I hear, sometimes.
Is it worth it just for that, though? That's what
I
I'm
think
saying.
so.
Like, the Wave of Terror is good against Chen.
No, Vengeful's definitely worth it. It's a great hero all around, and just having that swap. We saw a lot of games yesterday, just how good a Vengeful when played on a high level can be. It's good for saving, it's good for kill setups. I think it's one of the supports with the most versatility in regards to how you use the swap and everything, and it's.
I think you can even first pick it sometimes, and not even be a bad pick.
Probably not in current meta, just because of how good some of the other heroes are, but.
Complexity is almost running down their clock, making sure they pick out their last band. So then on the side of Mineski, do you think there's anything super high priority, like singled out in terms of this last band?
I'm sort of worried for the same reason I was last game, but even more so now, because last game they had Night Stalker and Phantom Lancer. This time around, they have no frontliner right now. Their last pick is going to be a carry position. So
I really want to Sven out of Complexity, I think, for the carry pick here. Lots of physical damage from Prophet, Witch Doctor, Vengeful Spirit. You can counter that with Warcry. You can clear the Treants very easily, and you can transition. Once he gets a BKB, like what can Mineski do to stop him?
swap kind of.
Apparently.
Gives them a setup stun as well, which they're kind of lacking. They've just got basically Tusk.
Right.
I feel like Sven would be the pick here for Complexity. It might be a little slow, that's one downside. Not that great at early fights, definitely. So if Mineski does play really aggressive with their carry pick, then it could be a little problematic, especially if they get a lot on the map, block the Ancients, stuff like that.
I like Ember a lot more. I think it's a lot more quicker pace, which is what they need versus Mineski.
Yeah, I was about to say, they need the quicker pace, especially because Seafreak historically has been one of the more bomb-prioritized gens in the first 10 minutes.
Oh, it is going to be PL once again, this game.
Pretty good. They have weak AoE on Mineski, so if he does get to, past the Diffusal Manta and gets into an HP item, either Scotty or Heart, then they will have a lot of trouble killing it.
It's just coming to bust out the Alk.
Oh yeah, we saw that Alchemist yesterday. I wouldn't even be past it just like a last-ditch YOLO effort. I think Complexity's lineup is just very well-rounded. It's solid, basically. It's not like... It doesn't really shine early on, but it doesn't really have weaknesses either.
Sounding like Mineski just need to play to their strengths and just play their hearts out in game number 2. They got lots of time to figure out, but according to what you're saying, I mean, there's no golden answer here. It's more just on their own field.
They could also pick Sven. potentially. It's really good against PL. It's really good against PL.
So I'll say this.
It's a tough carry, dude.
I mean, just
When I
keep
watch-
saying it until one of them picks
Someone's gonna pick it.
Whenever we're
With
playing
Amy.
tops with Perch and we're winning, it's because he plays Sven. Yeah, this is his go-to hero when this hero is just so dominant. So this is why he's pulling.
Speaking out of experience, I like it. You know, you gotta realize the stats you got.
OP, guys. Can kill all the AoE things, makes up for the lack of AoE that Mineski is missing. I mean, they basically got Cask and Puck Nukes and Prophet Ulti. That's it. And they've got to kill Chen Creeps, they've got to kill PL Illusions.
Let's do it. Let's get a Sven.
Alright, that's Sven. The golden answer for Mineski. All eyes on Mineski here in the arena.
I like Alka a little bit more because of the minus armor.
Damn it, Ben.
We're like all ready to trade, but it's like,
I think he's going to get kite away too hard. You have to deal with that, you have to deal with like Tusk.
I think that's really true.
Too. Like Sven is just, it's great versus PL, but it's not terribly great for the other one.
That is really the big problem, right?
Yeah.
Whatever they're gonna pick here, it needs to be something that the tank through the bat, because unless the bat goes on the puck, there's no obvious target. Yeah, that's true. But even then you're to whatever swap position Vence was in. If that's a Sven with
I mean, like Morphling, I guess, is also good for Spat Rider, but not that too many teams pick it up anymore.
because it's a bad hero now.
It's great for Spat, though. This is Morph, right?
There's always an answer. And Alk it is.
That's not a Sven.
It's not a Sven, but it is an Alk.
I'm actually with Ben. That's a lot. I think that hero's a lot better than Sven.
I'm inclined to agree. Alchemist was the right pick here. Purge, any final thoughts?
I'm gonna head my hang and head my head
Oh, I was like,
Hang my head in shame.
I was
Yes.
like, dang.
Got it, yeah.
All right. Well, Manila, it is time for game number 2. Complexity put out a good show, but Mineski needs your energy right now. Manila, continue making noise. Continue sending your energy onto the stage. See if we can get a third game between these two teams as they face elimination, as they face survival here at ESL One Manila 2016. Casters, take it away. Take us in to game number 2.
Thank you very much, Choba. And indeed, here we have it. Game 2, Mineski versus Complexity. And what a way to end the draft for Mineski. They pick up the Alchemist cap. What's up with that?
I mean, we were kind of like theorizing what could possibly be the last pick. The Sven was actually a really good option there that Purge was pointing out continually.
I mean,
But I think it was actually a really good fit here for Mineski. But the Alchemist is definitely the curveball.
I personally thought the Sven pick made a lot of sense, actually. And it would have helped dealing with the Phantom Lancer at all phases of the game. It helps deal with the Chen creeps once you've got a good amount of farm. The Warcry is quite good against this lineup, but they opt to go for the Alchemist, which they did against Liquid in Game 1.
Oh, the smoke, they found it here. Cast into Magic Missile. In comes the puck with the ult. Swindles is going to get first blooded. Boccarino, he had a great start to Game 1, and it looks to continue here in Game 2.
And a really great part of this is they're also going to be able to scout out kind of what complexity we're planning on, at least when it comes to the laning phase. And they might even be able to, sometimes you see teams when they go for this kind of like 5-man push into one side, they get the kill, and then they can like push 4 through the bottom lane or something like that. But I think Mineski just really want to be able to make sure that they secure the rune for the Alchemist. Obviously with the Grievous Greed, utmost importance that you get the bounty rune.
Absolutely, and looking at this game as well, we saw how in Game 1 Mineski were able to do well in the laning stage the early game. Then in the mid game it kind of slowed down, which didn't really work out for their draft. I guess when you've got an Alchemist, if it starts to go a bit passive in the mid game, it's alright for you as a draft?
Yeah, it's okay, but at the same time, you want this hero. He's kind of works like Anti-Mage in the sense that he's going to get that big injection of gold early on, and he's going to speed farm a little bit faster than most cores, but...
Oh, we saw Jules there trying for it. He's the courier just playing with him there in the mid lane. And he won't be able to get it, and we will indeed see it go around the safer way.
You know, this was pretty interesting because you were talking about how you were fine with the Puck mid versus the Invoker. In your experience from some of the things you've watched, you said that the Puck can handle the Invoker really well in the mid lane. Why do you think they chose to run the Alchemist mid instead?
I mean, we've seen this time and time again where it just feels like they're okay with giving this disadvantageous matchup mid to Ben-Hur, who just plays these melee cores, but I semi think it's a mistake just because we saw what happened in the game where Liquid played against Mineski, where their Alchemist was able to get abused really hard by that OD plus Bounty Hunter combo. There's obviously not something like that this game. It might come down to Z-Freak being able to make something happen, but definitely not as difficult as the OD was.
Seems like Z-Freak is going to be spending more of his time in this bottom lane. He's got the best creep that you could possibly get in the beginning of the game, the Satyr Tormentor. So this is going to put a lot of pressure on the bench and Puck.
I think my favorite moment of Shanghai by far was whenever they would fire off the Seder Blast, like the crowd would go insane. They're just like, we have to have something to root for at this point.
You can see already in the mid lane, Jesse, he's certainly been zoned out quite a bit, Ben. Doubling the CS here, so having a grand old time at the moment on the Alchemist. And I mean, bottom lane looks very tense. You can see the positioning of both teams. Just waiting to see if they find an opening. And there's your blast just coming on to Jesse.
I mean, the best part is, like, Z-Freak, he takes the tower shot. You think he cares? He has 6 HP regen thanks to this Unholy Aura. You get a great nuke, like probably one of the best nukes you could possibly get for harassment, a huge mana pool on the Tormentor as well. And, oh yeah, a nice 6 HP regen for everyone in this lane. There's just no way that Mineski can actually win this.
This is nice as well for Ben, of course. 2 minutes in, a second bounty room for the Alchemist. More gold into the bank for the man. So far, things going pretty well for the Out, considering the matchup in the mid lane. I mean, this is the thing about the Out, we don't see it a lot. I mean, how are you building the Out nowadays, and how would you build the Alchemist in a game like this against Complexity?
Do you think this is an armlet build? Or an armlet game, rather?
I don't know. They don't really have a lot of burst damage on the side of Cole. I actually think he can survive and maybe get something done with it, but in the first game that we saw it play, he went for the armlet and then directly into the Radiance. That Radiance felt a little bit more like a desperation, I need some sort of farming item, but at bottom...
Indeed, they pop the phase shift first here, they come with a snowball, Raging Potato won't be able to juke this out, Complexity, they find it there.
Really well planned there by Complexity. They just threw out the lance, force out the phase shift, and immediately snowball him with the double damage. They knew it was a guaranteed kill. But, I don't know, going back to the Alchemist, it is kind of a predicament here, just because you have to be able to deal with the Phantom Lancer. You don't want to be pushing this game too late, so I think you have a lot of incentives to try and get your Alchemist in fighting shape relatively early on, and I think Blitz is right about being able to tank up against this team. They just are unlikely to be able to pop a hero like Alchemist if he gets the armlet and maybe goes like eventually the AC build. But Radiance, we also saw the effectiveness of Radiance against a Phantom Lancer in last game, so...
I don't think that made as big of a difference just because at that point the game was kind of locked up, but maybe he just decides to go for the attack speed build, get something like a Maelstrom to use as his clear item instead, and uses the armlet just to abuse the fact that Complexity don't have that burst damage. He can get a lot of toggles off in a game like this, and... Laning phase so far, somewhat even. Again, I'm looking for Bocarino to try to make something happen around the map. But not a lot of opportunities for him, as a lot of these heroes are just hard to kill.
This Alchemist again, 4 minutes in, another bounty rune, so the net worth indeed looking very good for Ben. 500 ahead of the Invoker at the moment in this mid lane, and reaching onto the level 6 as well, which is obviously going to be very nice in terms of just making it very hard for the side of Complexity to gank the Alchemist. I mean, if you have Complexity, how do you deal with this Alchemist? Are you worried about him at the moment, or are you waiting for something else before you start to try and shut his farm down?
It's kind of difficult just because the lane is always going to be pushed up, and Ben-Hur's naturally playing a lot further back than he was in the game that we saw prior. And this is a good adjustment from him, because we saw in the last game that when he did play Alchemist, he was way too far forward, way too frequently. And at bottom, they're going to make the move on Limp, but they just do not have kill potential on this lane.
Not even close. They need like level 7 on Raging Potato for them to have the kind of lockdowns. And now Z-Freak's going to head up to the top lane. He just sent the Batrider back, and Batrider returns with full HP, full mana, and now they're going to be able to run down Bocarino.
Yeah, 2 stacks at the moment on him. That's going to be a third underneath the tower. Here's the dive, and they should be able to run. Oh no! The heal, and he's coming in. Jules scaring Swindles off, making sure that Complexity can't dive for that. Nice rotation there from the Witch Doctor.
I know Swindles was pretty disappointed with his performance from yesterday. I talked to him last night, and you know, Swindles' kind of player, he's just really hard on himself, but he was really disappointed, and he's going to be kicking himself for some of the mistakes he's made in both game number 1 and now the beginning of game number 2. That should have been a guaranteed kill, but flies off a little bit too early.
This mid matchup kind of going as we expected, as the Alchemist is just playing safe farm. He's got 1 or 2 stacks into the jungle that the Witch Doctor set up for him. Jules hanging around that area. It's kind of the trade-off, is this bottom lane is going to be weaker, but they really didn't anticipate this puck dying in the first place.
And as you said, these levels just very important for the side of Mineski on this bottom lane, so they can start to try and make some action happen. I mean, at the moment, Limp, 5-6 minutes in, 21 CS on this off lane for the PL, so still relatively good for him. Top lane this time, Bounty Rune isn't going to go the way of the Alchemist, as will be sniped there by Z-Freak.
Yeah, I like how Complexity start putting a premium and getting those runes, but now Raging Potato's going to be caught out.
Absolutely, they see the opening with a phase shift use, the orb already popped. It's another opening, and Complexity every time. I mean, Raging Potato, he's got to be so careful on this puck, because every time there's that window where his spells are off, you know, they're straight in there, Complexity, to punish it.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry?
The worst part of this is all this aggression from Complexity. I really like what they're doing this bottom lane. It has a side effect where the Vengeful Spirit isn't allowed to be able to sit in the jungle and stack up for the Alchemist. So right now, it's only the Witch Doctor who's stacking, and he's got that big hard camp, but that's really just not enough to keep our Alchemist, you know, way ahead of Complexity, essentially being able to solo. They need the rest of Mineski to have some levels and gold, but they're really getting nothing to work with from this laning phase so far.
Sort of think they just have to be more careful with this bottom lane. Like, this isn't a lane that Puck is going to get hard disabled in by any stretch of the imagination, and it's going to be a little bit of a misplay. And he's going to be kicking himself as he needs that level 6.
There's a lot rotating here onto Hansken. They should be able to find a kill in Mineski. They've got 4. Hansken, he's looking for the plays here, but a magic missile to cancel it. He's going to get taken down.
Hansken's probably sitting there like, come on guys, like 4 heroes from all sides, from all directions, like what is that? But Mineski do spring that trap pretty nicely. They punish the roaming support. It's not necessarily the biggest kill in the world, but it does kind of set up this, you know, this kind of like play where you're like, hey, you start roaming into the middle lane, you're going to get punished like that. Stay in that bottom lane and just keep the pressure off the Alchemist as much as possible.
And talking about the out here, bang on. He goes for the armlet here as his first item. So we'll indeed see how much he can do. And obviously at this point, still yet to be taken down. Not a lot of looking towards that mid lane. Obviously that rotation from Tusk, maybe looking to find something. Top lane. Brundle's coming in fairly aggressively again, but looks like he's going to be fine. They won't be able to punish that. Up to the top. Out. Not going to get the bounty this time. Arcane Rune's going to be up there for him at the top. But 2 to 8 minutes in, I mean, this game, the opening, certainly a lot more passive than we saw in game 1. A very different kind of game being played by both sides.
Yeah, you know, normally you're like, oh, I have to get the bounty rune, I have to get the bounty rune. But Arcane Rune is actually pretty good for Alchemist. It means he gets that, like, free Octarine for a minute, and this means he gets Chemical Rage twice in a row. The cooldown goes down to 31.5 seconds, and the duration is 25, so there's practically no downtime here, which means he's still going to be able to farm pretty efficiently through the map with more acid sprays and more mana.
Pace of this game is definitely going to favor Mineski when it slows down like this, just because Ben-Hur's taking advantage of all these stacks in the jungle. If that bottom lane hadn't gone, if it had just gone like 10% better, maybe they'd be in a really good position right now, and Complexity might not even have a kill to their name. And Mineski, they still have a lot of different ways to open up on the map. They've got the Dream Coil available on the puck. Probably just don't want to force anything right now. And yeah, if you just look around the map, I don't really know who the prime target is for him.
This is a nice smoke as well. I mean, obviously, he did have a ward down, so we'll see how safe he feels. Didn't see the smoke, but obviously for him, in his sights, there was no action there. But still, realizes that nothing else is going on elsewhere on the map, and a nice read from Limp, just playing it safe, making sure the smoke isn't successful.
Yeah, there was that phrase that Blitz you came up with, a low percentage gank. Right? I really like that phrase because it describes it perfectly. That's what those two supports are encountering. They smoke up and try and go for a Phantom Lancer, but it's just a hard carry to go for. And it's why it's such an effective carry to run in sort of dual offlane scenarios. You don't always expect the Phantom Lancer to be running aggressive against you, but certain teams, like here we see Complexity, we've seen Alliance do it before, they're really able to punish certain laning phase configurations.
Oh, this rotation by Complexity.
Yeah, it's going to be big onto Jules. He's gone. Can this doesn't have a Limp? He's going to doppelganger forward, trying to find the lance onto Jesse, and he will. But it looks like the rest of Complexity not wanting to dive too deep.
Yeah, the best part of that, like, that was a smoke that was all but guaranteed to find a pick-off. And once they get that pick-off, they're set up with the 2 exact heroes that are going for the ganking. They're the 2 exact heroes needed to be able to quickly take Roshan this early on. I mean, it's pretty absurd, but Invoker does Roshan so fast, and now that he's got some heroes, or creeps rather, to tank the Roshan for his Force Spirits, it makes it all the easier.
Yeah, they know this is going on, but not really sure if they want to contest this or not. Mineski, they do have a lot of farm on these cores. The Puck has his Dream Coil available, but he's going to go for the TP top, and that's all but going to assure this Roshan for Complexity. And at just 10 minutes into the game, it's going to make quite a difference.
I actually like this. I'm not sure if they would be able to get into the Roshan pit in time, nor am I sure that's actually a fight they can win. But if they can make this surprise play and catch out Swindles, then he tries to jump on Bogarino!
Oh, there, the Blink Dagger revealed from Swindles. Not how he planned it, and as you said, the punish from Mineski. And that's big. They know that Pat's got that blink, so they'll be ready for him next time he comes in.
Yeah, and this means Raging Potato gets that much closer to the Blink Dagger. You get the Blink Dagger, you can talk about the Veil.
Oh. And mid lane, just a bit of potential was Ben. And as you guys were talking about, on top of the arm, that I guess saving up the money, he does what? Go for the Radiant straight up then as his next big item.
Yep. I think that his Radiance timing is still going to be pretty damn effective, and I think they require this damage over time. I feel like a lot of the problem with Mineski is going to be that their puck didn't do well enough, so they're going to be a little bit lacking in damage. They have some okay control, but unfortunately their side lanes just didn't go well enough that they're going to have guaranteed kills. But if you have the Radiance, and if you could possibly get the Veil picked up by the puck, just this natural damage over time is going to threaten a lot of complexity.
I don't know how Complexity are going to deal with this hero early on, just because when you have a Radiance and an Armlet at just 12-13 minutes into the game, there's not a whole lot of heroes that can fight that.
Yeah.
They do almost have the Chen mech available to them, and that's going to help out a lot when it comes to just being able to flat push. And Mineski, this time around, they have a lot more wave clear than they did in the previous game, so being able to hold these towers against the Chen is going to be pretty crucial here.
Complexity are still getting some openings, though. They pushed down the bottom tier 2, got some damage there, forced a rotation. Now Jesse's getting a lot of damage on this tier 1, still no one challenging that, and part of the reason is because they know Complexity with the rotation from tier 2 bottom in through mid, they're going to be prepared to fight around this area, and really Alchemist, he's just saying, guys, just let me finish up the Radiance. If we take a fight now and try and defend a tower, and we lose that, and it costs me, you know, Radiance delayed 2 or 3 minutes, that could actually cost us the game.
Yeah, it's just difficult to take that fight anyways. Just you don't have a lot of vision in your own side of the jungle. That mid fight, as we saw the first time around, went so badly for them in the last game. There's no reason to risk the game just when your Alchemist is just 1,000 gold away from your Radiance. He's got a lot of levels of the Grievel's Greed too. Not a whole lot of fighting to be done with just the right click. So get CC'd pretty easily.
So when the Radiance is up, this means Complexity need to play like very much a movement and kind of pick-off based game. You know, go for the Battle Rider lasso into the Sunstrike, have the Phantom Lancer TP in with his Boots of Travels, and just kind of like overwhelm one hero and then get the hell out of there. I think they need to avoid full 5 versus 5s like Will was talking about.
Oh, we can see here. Yeah,
he's been spotted.
He's still going to try and maybe jump in. Actually, Mineski, as you said, they've got the vision, the magic missiles there. Puck jumping forward. There'll be a snowball in time from Hanskin. It's only himself in a Dream Cold, just getting dropped hospitals on the sidelines. They see the rush come through, but now the lasso controlling the puck. Morris clench as well. They're finally killing ready for Data Red. Deathbond for Jules, bringing Jesse low, but Jesse's going to be fine. And now chasing the rest of Mineski back to base here. They should be able to find more. Porcorino falling low. The Spirit Lance goes forward. Can they get the MP? Yes, they can. A second kill for Complexity. Only losing the toss there. And as you said, it's just they find the opening, and Mineski knew it. They saw it coming, but still Complexity come out on top.
Hey, it's hard to set up a better fight than the Cap. They had full vision of the Bat Rider coming in. There was no way that he was going to get the initiation off, but Mineski, they just kind of clump up and they don't hard commit to the fight, even though the puck goes in by himself. Nobody's there to follow up, and they just lose a hero for free.
Yeah, which, ooh.
They're trying to fight back into it. I mean, you've got the concoction digging up, but the doppelganger out for limp, jukes it all out.
Yeah, this is going to be a large part of the problem, is that Mineski, unless they get a really good Dream Coil, Complexity have a lot of ways to be able to disengage. You have the send back from the Chen. Bat Rider's just a hard hero to catch, both him as well as the rest of his team, because his sticky Napalm and Firefly. You've got a Doppelganger from the Phantom Lancer, and then, you know, certain things like Ice Wall from Invoker, which are absurdly powerful at being able to slow down a team fight in slow pursuit. So,
oh, yes, Windows, he's got.
He's just waiting out the lasso, but
it's not coming here. As you said, yeah, still on cooldown.
A little bit more time.
No way you want to make that rotation anyways onto that tier 1 tower. Just because you don't have the best vision, you don't know where everybody is on the map quite yet. You see people start to head up. Don't need to risk it at all. And Complexity, that's a good point you might bring up. The Doppelganger is so effective against all those slow-moving projectiles.
Now they're going to try it. Lasso with the Sunstrike. It's a lot of burst raging. Can he play his way out of this? Patient.
Oh, but the Invoker's coming.
Still taking out low. Then Swindles blinks in with a Firefly. They'll catch him out. And at the end of the day, the Inver's Rune, to the very end of its duration, being very, very useful for Complexity, allowing them that kill. But elsewhere, space has been made, and we now seen that Radiance turn it out 15 minutes in.
Yeah, but I think Complexity is really happy with this timing. It's not all about the timing of the Radiance and how much they've slowed that down, but how much Complexity gained before the Radiance was actually picked up. They got a lot of kills on the puck. They shut him down really well. He's 0-4-4. He only has the Blink Dagger, but he's nowhere close to the Veil, which again I feel is pretty key to making puck that big transition into the mid game and allowing everybody's spells to do so much more. I think they can still potentially take some fights. They have to be careful, obviously, around this Radiance, but I think they're actually far enough ahead that they can play into it. The worst part is when you are looking at an Alchemist draft and you take a look at the team net worth, and it's in favor of the opposing team. That's when you know you're in serious issues. The Alchemist may be ahead, but the rest of his teammates are so far behind.
Oh, Jules, and he get the vision for the snowball. It's only just getting himself out.
And Jules mechanically is playing really well, but yeah, he's probably going to go for the Veil just because it is a good item against the Phantom Lancer as well, just so you can spot out which one is the real one. You get some immediate burst damage onto all the illusions where you can just clear it with one wave. But the Bat Rider's getting a lot of farm, and like Cap talked about, when you have a draft that features an Alchemist, it is kind of important to be ahead in net worth because this hero, it's really easy to kite him. He heavily relies on being so far ahead in net worth that you just can't really ignore him.
Oh, mid lane raging, jumping in, drops the coil as well, looking for Swindles. He's got the help of Jesse, Jules, the whole gang ready to go, and here's the cast. Swindles out of place and taken down. They punish it, they get themselves the kill, and don't lose anything in return.
It was kind of absurd though how long it took them to kill a Bat Rider, just like when they went on around the tier 2.
Can they catch this Outcat? He hasn't got ult for 10. It's just Hanskin though. PL, yeah, couldn't get himself boxed in. I think the creep went down when he tried. And now, talking about TPing in, Bocarino's going to join. The cask is there, so time to the concoction, and they'll get it. They punish Hanskin. Mineski now, just reacting very nicely as a team to just catching the heroes of complexity out on their own, and they've got to be careful about being picked off by it like this.
That was the opening. Mineski really needed to be able to take a tier 2 of their own because their bottom lane was pushed out. Because they get that kill, though, they can make this an even swap, maybe.
Yeah, holding on for the stun to wait out the double game. Can they get it right? Concoction is on point. Step 4 down, Liv's gone. Dabbing blast onto 3 now. Complexity try and fight back into this, but Mineski still looking pretty good. They may even just turn back in. Swindles bouncing around them here on the cliff, looking to chase him, gets him with the lasso, brings the MP back, and Mineski says, sorry, Bot, you've got to go. They let him die, and the rest of them are out, realizing it's not a great fight for them, and just making sure it's only one loss for the side.
I mean, did you see the way that Jules, like, attempted to turn around? One sticky napalm stack, and he was, like, slowly shuffling and turning himself around, trying to get the paralyzing cast to stop the Bat Rider from pulling away his ally, but he just can't really do it, and this is the big strength of the Bat Rider. They have so much kiting potential, and it's only going to get worse, as Will was alluding to earlier. If Complexity are ahead in net worth and they start getting more items, Ghost Scepters and Force Staffs and those sort of things on Cole, it's just going to be tough for the Alchemist to be able to get his hands essentially on some people, and it just becomes all the more necessary that Puck has a good game at that point, that he's able to find the right initiations, get the good dream coils that keeps the heroes in place for those couple extra seconds.
The good news though is that they were able to find the Phantom Lancer, and that hero is worth a lot more as Han's gonna mid.
Indeed, mid, they'll find it. Jules, this time, Mineski, the ones with the Invis Rune of their house, just giving them that opening to get the cask out. Just that little stun, setting up for the silence from Potato. And 8 for 7, it's certainly stepping back up, and imagine if you look at the graph, it must be starting to swing right back round for Mineski, and indeed it is. And as you talk with an out, I mean, we can expect to see that go up and up and up, and let's continue to find these kills. Meteor Dog, look, he might actually survive this one. He's got Witch Doctor's heal, he's going to be finding out there. Looking to turn it, Concoction and Cast got to Z3, but that's all the touches. Do they have the damage? Yes, they do. Mineski, they find themselves another, and they'll even get some of the chain creeps here to boot.
Man, Z-Freak thought he was such a baller. He like rolls up with 3 different trolls and just chain nets the poor Furion, but it doesn't prove to be enough. Fortunately, the Bocarino chose to go for that mech build, kept him alive with the Voodoo Restoration as well. You just need to make sure they defend this tier 2 mid. Don't be caught.
I was going to say, he's coming to defend, but he's on his own for the time being. Raging Potato just join in, gets the silence out by Bocarino. Lane break back, the illusion's chasing him down. There's just so going. Oh, gets him! He's gone! And now the rest of Mineski coming through, but Complexity, how long are they going to stick around for?
Oh no, yeah. Stable Concoction sending himself. I don't think they can catch these heroes otherwise.
He's looking for a Potato, but he's low on mana. He is moving forward on his own, and well, Dukes have the Lance. Chessie now turning up. Mineski, they still want to try and look for this for the time being, at least. Ooh. And now they realize it's not the time to fight a man down, and they'll hold off.
I love these kind of ice shards play. You trap them against the tree. You never know when the enemy team's retreating. You can make a play like that. You might open your team up for like a turnaround and quick pickoff, but Complexity, they knew they were fortunate enough just to be able to get the Fury on and need to be able to call it a day.
Hey, they've got it. Concoction on the high ground, Deathford on the low ground. Swindles is gone. Nice little play there. The Witch Doctor just forcing Swindles to force up to the high ground, and the Concoction was waiting for him ready and all charged up.
And they just have way too much farm right now on Ben-Hur. It's really difficult to deal with this hero, especially when he's got the Manta style. We already discussed the difficulty in bringing him down when he's got the Chemical Rage up. Because of the fact that they don't have any sort of immediate burst damage, they're going to send the Meatball down, but unlike last game, They rely so heavily on this Batrider to be their solo initiator.
He's talking about initiating puck. Raging Potato in the tree line here, has a dream coil. He sees an opening, he's going to jump. The full lineup of Mineski ready to fight. Potato holding on for the time being. They need to get some kind of vision for the fight around this. They'll see Limp as he comes forward with the lance. And the tree's actually been cleared out. Fortification now with his TP. I mean, this opening up to be a big one. Potato jumps in, Silence coil onto two. Swindles is in caught out. Swindles up to the left. Can he get himself away? No, Concha flies through. Hand of God. From Z3 there to Beck as well. Keeping Swindles alive for the time being. Snow's trying to commit up. It's not going to be on point. But Greeno and Jules now in the retreat. Forward push, finishing off the Witch Doctor. It's a 1-for-1 at the moment, but Mineski can they find more AMP. But Greeno sprouts up, TP's away. Oh, he can't make it. The snowball goes through. But Has gets silenced up. They're going to make it 2 for 2. Raging Potato with the double kill and the rest of Complexity. Delaying around Chessie, trying to do something. There's your magic missile. Ben a little bit low mana. And it looks like it will settle down for the time being. But again, these big fights and 2 for 2. I mean, is anyone the clear winner there in your eyes, Cap?
I mean, I was just so absurd that like Ben-Hur couldn't go for more at that point in time because there's this big looming ice wall in his way. He just can't move forward through that, which is why BKB is going to be essential for him eventually. But I believe he's got to finish up, you know, go for the Octarine next. You know, that way you have the full spam out essentially, where Chemical Rage is always up. You're able to throw Manta Illusions everywhere, and Complexity are actually going to be kind of hard pressed to stop that split pushing aspect. They don't really have the greatest heroes to deal with it. One of the good things though is their item set is actually okay for it. They've got a lot of boots of travel.
Has he gone in a burst? Well, with the wrap, he might just. Oh no, he can't! Great play from Mineski. Raging Potato setting up beautifully with the Invis, waning Rift into the Veil, into the magical burst. I mean, Invis ruins this game. They're being huge for both sides in terms of these solo pickoffs.
And now they might actually get another pick on Swindles.
No time, every single time. He's going to pop so hard there with the Melodic Dot and not a chance. Off he goes, dominating streak here for the Alchemist. And this time, Mineski game 2, doing a lot better in this mid-game portion.
I love this kill combination that they have between the Alchemist and the Witch Doctor too. The Acid Spray just allows the Death Ward to do so much more damage.
Top push can come in as Raging Potato once again looking to set up. Doesn't have the Dream Coil available though, but kind of pulling aggressively.
Needs to be careful there. Potato was looking for the silence. But as you said, they get their objective, they get a tier 2.
Complexity, they're just getting super sloppy. Remember what Will said like last game? The sign of a team, you know, like kind of falling apart and playing badly is that you get picked off multiple times. Well, that just happened. They got picked off in mid, they got picked off at top. They can't afford some of these aggressive positions. I'm not sure if the Complexity are underestimating some of the kill power that these teams of 2 that Mineski are running around with that they actually have, but Complexity just cannot afford too many more mistakes.
And we're seeing again, Chessie is going for Roche. I think in pretty much both of the games, it's always been Complexity getting their hands on this one. Mineski never really been able to truly disrupt a Roshan attempt.
Oh, come on, Rash.
Are they going to check it? Are they going to check it out? The ping's coming through. Don't know it yet. Stem one in, yeah. So they'll see it. It's very low as well here. They've got relatively good Roshan potential taking as well with their lineup.
Well, they're going to go in, steal it outright?
They're going to just walk in and try and take it, Complexity. Can they punish this? We'll see. At the moment, the Ancients and Carty coming in for the team. Look at the leader, Swindle jump. Oh no! He's left out of the illusion! Now Chessie jumping over the combo. Lib will be able to keep it out, but they'll get it right fully. It's Radiant's kill! It's just over the top! Now get it, Mineski! Chessie back takes it to death. Walk for Jules on the high down, punneling into Lib! Lib scored Chessie! So going to sprout, do they have the vision? Where's the vision though? Oh, he's got sent back. Just in time of Mineski. They kill Lim, they kill Roshan, and they manage to pick up the Aegis after what seems like an eternity that's left on the floor.
Is that the very first Roshan that Mineski has gotten in this series?
Yeah.
I mean, that is exactly what they need. We get out there actually getting close to being able to end the game. All right, bye-bye Aegis, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Mineski are still full steam ahead. They're going to be able to push the tier 2. They're probably going to go high ground here and just force out some damage on the tier 3 with a Phantom Lancer.
Oh, yo! Onto Swindle, Chessie, and then onto 2, the Kokocha starting to complete your drop down the cards, onto the high ground, the Kokocha, they go onto Swindles, he's going to fall low, it goes back with the Radiant. Oh, the save! He's almost certainly still going to go down this man. Oh, he's out! It got out now, the turnaround, that's Ken, but he's on the front line, gets bursted down. That's just gone.
What a player. He had to make that save on the Batrider. Now they actually have a chance to be able to defend their tier 3 and force Mineski back.
Let's see what they can do, Mineski. Not ready to leave. They're still happy, standing strong, pushing forward, Ben. Now starting to tick out. He's got that ultra in his head. He's going to have the ult back up very, very shortly.
They know the Bat Rider is coming. I am very surprised that they're actually still in a position
He's going to jump in. This time he does get the out, but the out with the ult on, he's going to be incredibly tacky here. Can they burst him down? Two shots to the flame break here with the Mantis Star going to be right for the time being. Z3, and then already, but then with the dream card, the waiting room, Dr. 2, the cold culture on to Swindle, Jesse, getting swung back, magic this to the power as he calls, bouncing between them. Buccarino, can he get himself out of this one? Still pulling low. Oh, yes, did he save him with the last fly through? The hallucination bomber on the back line, though. Raging Potato just playing with the Sonic Complexity, takes down Swindles. He's hiding in the tree line here. He'll spot him out. Phase shifts. Potato. He's going to play around them here.
And they've already taken the
They'll get a punch out. Phase shifts again. Tornado for Jesse. So it's not going to be that way. Raging Potato gets the slice off the tree. Jesse can't get the rest of his spells out. Concoction on the evoker bed. Move forward the Debbie. Well talking about the struggle in. Can they kill the out of the cast? Jules is going to hold him out. Magic best looking forward. Through Kansken is gone. Z3. He can't come in on his own. There's two dead on Complexity. Fortification will come out here. But Mineski, they should be able to finish this off. They'll get themselves a full set of rank points to the inmate. They swap and silence. Then final Jesse will be able to go walk himself out. But Complexity, they can't afford to give away calls like that. Limp waltzes in and immediately the swap is there.
Complexity crumbling under that constant aggression of Mineski. They refused to back down. They just kept on going
look at that graph.
A clean escape from them, and look at the lead that they have. Plus, they killed the Phantom Lance in that last engagement. PL is so far out of this game now.
My goodness, Blitz, what do you have to say for yourself?
I mean, Mineski, this time around, it just feels like they had a better game plan going into the mid-game. They were able to finally use that aggression and turn it into something like a tower push with objectives. I really like that they finally decided to contest for that Roshan. In the previous two games you saw, they largely just gave it up, and this time around it pays off huge for them as they pick up so many different kills, and with that Rax, the amount of gold that they got just from the kills in the Rax alone, there's a fully completed AC now on the Alchemist. The items are just trickling in. Mineski, they are so on top of this game right now.
They really are. It really feels that between game 1 and game 2, they must have had a talk, because Mineski this time, they're not messing up. You know, we're seeing this point 28 minutes in, and Mineski, each and every time, they're getting the peak kills, they're managing to punish the aggression of Complexity. And, I mean, should Complexity now, what are you looking to do? You just can't let yourself be picked off as much as they have been.
You know, part of the problem is I'm not sure if their initiation can be on the Alchemist anymore. I know that when they jumped, I don't think they got like the Meteor combination. So Alch still looked really healthy after all of that. In fact, the initiation only led into a pick-off on the Furion. Ben-Hur was actually super healthy. Do you ignore that hero at a certain point? Do you look for a better, easier kill?
I don't really know if you can ignore him just because of how much damage he puts out. He's 30 minutes in, he's 6-slotted already. The Radiant Spurt alone is dealing quite a bit. And all of these long fights, that's really what's hurting Complexity the most. They just can't burst anybody down.
How do you stop this? He just sits there.
He's got so much armor.
Swindles is going to try initiating onto the Alchemist, bringing him back. Raging Potato jumps in over the Dream Core, the Sun's got the 3. Then, turning the concussion over, looking for Jesse. He's going to be fine in for the time, but none of the stun still came out. They'll get it. Jesse's down. 17 seconds will buy back straight away here into the defense, but already Mineski Complexity forced by the base limb. True by Buccarino, but Jesse Match. He can't get done. Double kill from Bandit. They take down Just throw by back available limb. Dropping by the radius burn, taking him out. Buccarino still alive, swap back. Buccarino's going to be saved. Manages to walk it off here on the native profit. And again, Complexity just can't stop the Alchemist. They can't do anything about him, and again, Concoction catches 2, Raging gets him with a silence, 2 of them caught out, Jesse and Z3 being forced back, Swindles on the sideline, is looking to see if he can do anything, but there's no lasso at the moment, and just the illusions forcing back Complexity into their fountain. It's a second set of racks from Mineski and Raging Potato, he's ready to play, he's just waltzing around in front of the fountain, orbs away. Then, can he try and punish this one? We'll get the Lance out, Cosnap as well, Raging, has the Yules. And with a phase shift, can he play around them for a little bit? Right. Goodbye, Complexity. Oh, hello. We're here for round 2. Puck. No, he's not. Oh, he's out. He's out.
Eventually, some cooldowns are going to come into play. I have no idea what kind of play Raging Potato was going for. Like, it was sitting underneath the throne at some point in time while the rest of his team was backing out, but still, it doesn't really matter. The pickoff, it's small. It doesn't mean anything. Mineski have every lead in the world. Look at the Alchemist's net worth. I know it's an Alchemist, but he's got double the Invoker, who's in second place.
300 CS, 30 minutes in, 6-0-10. Absolutely incredible stuff. And now, who's he giving the Ags to? Who gets priority?
I think Puck.
Is it the Witch Doctor's? Oh no, Witch Doctor's board is his own. So, Alk, you reckon it's going to be the Puck?
I think he's the only real target that benefits from it a ton. You've got the Nature's Prophet, and I guess you can keep using him to push in the lanes, but at this point you're just buying side items for the rest of your team because they know complexity. They just do not have the lockdown for the Alchemist. You know, they use the Bat Ultimate on him every single time, but where's the burst damage coming from?
Yeah, Ben, yeah, as you said, TP's back. There you go, there's your Ags Puck, Raging Potato. I mean, this man, you know, on this Puck, we're seeing Puck make a real resurgence, what feels like over the past couple of weeks. And I guess this kind of game we're seeing why, because every time these multiple hero silences and Dream Coils are essentially starting off the fight and winning them for Mineski.
I sort of think that right now for Complexity, that any sort of chance they have to assault the backline and hope that they don't get that two-man Dream Coil over and over again on their two cores. The Invoker needs space to be able to do anything, but it's going to be such a tough task to follow up with.
Swindles has to find pickoffs right now, and it looks like he will be able to get one in Bocarino.
See, with Vanscan coming in as well, is the only way they can play his way out of this. He has got a mech. No TP though. And indeed, it'll be a slow, painful death here for the Nature's Prophet.
Yeah, but look at bottom. Ben Hur, he knows there's two heroes in the top lane. He's got three behind him. He knows he can assault this tier 3.
And look, Lim trying to go for the back line. He's trying to find Jules here. Jumping straight in onto the Witch Doctor. Same time, Chessie's been starting to start. There's the call to get him. That should broken down. No buyback. Jules will be punished by Lim. But now Lim, the one in trouble. Ben forcing him back in with a radius spell. Lim jumps into the sidelines, but Puck's there. Magic missile. Wicked sick for your Alchemist. Buyback straight away from Lim, but they've got to defend it without the Invoker. Yes, Mineski are 2 heroes down, but Ben still there, the powerhouse on the Alchemist. I mean, this man chasing down Z3 with a stun Lim. Finds Jesse Bash there with the help of Hanscam. But the Alchemist waltzing around the base, kills the Chen. If they can kill this out, it's a lot of money, but there's Raging Potato in with the double kill. Silence on 2. Swindle forced back to the fountain. They just can't deal with it. This Puck Alchemist combo, every single fight, they jump in, they get the control, Alk walks in, mega creeps for Mineski 33 minutes in. I really don't know how you defend against this one after Complexity.
I don't think you can. There's absolutely no way. Mineski are just going to continually assaulting your base. I can't believe they did this in game 2.
Absolutely incredible stuff. Oh, hey, look at the turnaround. They'll get him in. Then, okay, oh, yeah. Nearly started it. They're coming in with the Puck, looking for the blaze. Oh, Raging Potato. Oh, starting, as you said, all over them. The engine falls in GG, well played, Mineski! Taking it to a game 3! After what looked to be a weak showing in the mid-game of game 1, Mineski shows they can stand up to a level here on this international playing field and take a game of Complexity. Cap, can you believe it?
I honestly can't. Mineski, they keep their hopes alive in this tournament. First of all, this game 2, but the way that they did it too, they made a statement here. Not even your fountain is safe against Mineski once they get this kind of